Hi, this is Eldervi, and to say this straight away, this is not a prank. I seriously quit FE. Lots of things have happened lately, and it was not an easy decision. But I decided that it would be the best for me, my family, and also my content if I stopped playing FE. And I did! So, for everyone who only want to hear the shocking message, it's right there. I quit. But for those of you who would like to get me to know a little bit better, I'll browse a bit through my game, showing you the achievements I've accomplished over the past 4 years, while I will not only tell you how I reached that decision, but also my actual story. First of all, what do I even do for a living? I know that this question has popped up multiple times in the past, either as comments or as a Q&A in my summoning videos, and honestly, I tried my best to avoid that question. A, cause I'm not really the type of person who tends to share details about my life, and B, cause it was difficult to answer. So, I have a Bachelor of Arts, and I've been working as a fashion designer for the past years. And when I say fashion designer, I don't mean my mom and dad are rich and pay my everything, so I get to enjoy calling myself fashion designer. But an actual fashion designer, working for several brands, most of them international brands. I've actually seen people on the street wearing the stuff I designed, which was awkward. Like, my first reaction was to go up there and tell them, I did this! But then I remembered that I usually look like shit when I go outside, and I didn't want them to hate their clothing afterwards. So when I go back to the time I started filling my channel with fake content, we will very quickly see that it was over 1 year ago, on May 23rd. 2 months after the pandemic hit that hard that offices were officially shut down. So just like everyone else, I was working from home for a time, until the brand I was working for at the time shut down completely due to the pandemic. So I was suddenly unemployed and forced to stay at home with my 2 kids. My son was basically just born. Preschool obviously shut their doors as well, and I had to figure out something new. Kids have to eat. Luckily, sweets are much less expensive than vegetables, and serving them is like throwing your money directly into the trash can. So there's that at least. Luckily, we had already started drawing Fire Emblem stuff years back, so when the pandemic hit with full force, me being locked up at home with 2 kids, I decided to do what I never wanted to do, and tried to make a living out of art. I had a small base of loyal patrons, a well-working Etsy store, and the best thing about it, I could be a dad for my kids. An actual dad, not the come home and read a bedtime story dad who I had to be before. Well, that's not fair. I also changed diapers and cleaned up vomit at night. I still do. Being a parent is so much fun. So despite the pandemic, we had quite a good time. But there was an issue. Back in the days, I used to draw 1 painting per month, only drawing in the evening hours after my day job. So how much would I be able to accomplish now that I had a whole day to draw quality porn? Apparently, nothing. Working from home was great, and I was able to take care of my children whenever they needed me, which ended up being all the time as I was suddenly available. Try telling your kid that you need to finish drawing some boobs before you can help them build the Paw Patrol headquarters out of Lego bricks. There is so much wrong with that. So despite technically having 11 more hours each day to draw, I still only managed to finish a single painting per month, which was honestly a big bummer. Like, how? Obviously I can't blame it all on the kids. There were tons of reasons that led to this. Like, overcomplicating things. I mean, that's an improvement, so this is fine. Yeah, I mean it takes longer, but it's also better, so... Okay, this might be a bit too much. Okay, I get it. Okay, now that's ridiculous. Name me any mental condition about self-damaging perfectionism, I have it. And trying to make a living out of art during a pandemic with less than 100 likes for a month of work, when the vomit you spit out while sitting on the toilet gets 10 times the attention? Not helpful. When you have imposter syndrome telling you that the month of work was probably as worthy as the actual dump in your toilet and you have to do even better to make it in this world. But despite all the fun I'm having right now, it created a big issue for me. Being unwillingly self-employed, I could only make money by actually finishing work. So every hour I was not working, I kinda lost the opportunity to make money. And it sounds crazy, but it's true. And it's a lot of pressure. And next to the kids and my own mental health issues, there was a certain mobile app consuming more and more of my precious time. Fire Emblem Heroes! Spoilers! But this is only 2020. I've always been competitive, by nature. I was competitive in school, not really trying to be the best, but rather to stand out the most. Which I achieved, by dyeing my hair every other week and constantly arriving late. God, I was a shit kid. I was competitive during university, actually trying to be the best student, which I achieved by feeding my professor's cat. I was also a decent student, but the cat had an impact. I was competitive as a cosplayer, where I competed in the national championship and also the World Cosplay Summit. Right. Where I never went, cause we ended up being the runner-ups for our country twice. Yay. Damn. My whole life I felt like I had to be visibly on top of the board to prove myself. And it wasn't much different for FE. Not in the early days. I was actually afraid of the arena cause I thought these matches were played in real time. And I was ashamed of not knowing the effects of the weapons and skills and therefore taking too much time for my turn, while my enemy would always do their move right away like a pro. Like, how were they so fast? I was so glad once I found out that it was not a real-time PvP mode. Cause that shit would be really stressful, right? But even after that, I never really cared for Arena. I didn't have the merges on my units and I refused to spend money for literally a light blue border and +3 stats, which sounds crazy to me even today. And honestly, there was also not much fame when it came to Arena back then. But once Ether raids came out, Or let's say some weeks after that, cause I initially missed it. I finally found another way to compete. Only the really smart players would come out on top. And those with cash. And I wanted to be one of them. The smart ones. Like, I would also like to have the cash, just not for heroes. And the best part about it, you didn't need merges. Sure, some merges would obviously help for scoring, but even today you can still reach the highest tiers without merges. And going up against crazy strong teams with my unmerged units was actually even thrilling. But EVA raids obviously evolved. While my very first team centered around a hit and run strategy with my unmerged plus Resplendent Belle and her gravity stuff, 6-man defenses and double dancers soon forced me to spend much more time on this mode. Up to an hour per match! So, while it didn't bother me too much back in the days when I was still working, cause I usually played my matches either during the 1 hour forced lunch break or when all of my colleagues left to smoke, which they did a lot. No wonder that company didn't survive, literally no one was working there. It suddenly became quite an issue once I was working from home. As I said before, each hour I wasn't working was now an hour I wasn't earning money. And with EVA raids and also all the other new modes that constantly forced your attention, I was starting to beat myself up over the time I was literally wasting on this game. Sure, I could have easily said, let's stop playing EVA raids and rather enjoy waifu collecting. Everyone who knows me knows that this is not how I work. So it was actually my wife who came up with the idea to make video content. It might help to promote our art business, so the time I would spend on heroes would actually become marketing time. Quite smart actually. To cheat on yourself. And so I did. And I had tons of fun. Seriously. I loved creating funny and enjoyable content. I suddenly connected with awesome people I only adored from afar till then. Our art business did indeed grow as more and more people suddenly started to recognize us. People talked about me on 4chan. Like, if you make it to 4chan, you have officially become relevant. Okay, I had still a bit of work to do. I had a lot of fun creating videos. But while YouTube was indeed pushing my artist career, it obviously didn't help with my issues of not having enough time. Quite the opposite. And even though all of my channels were growing, they were not growing fast enough in order to feed 2 kids. Not gonna lie, adult life sucks. So I had to start doing some serious work again. But how? We were still in the middle of a pandemic. Schools closed once again during the winter of 2020, shitting every parent right into the face who suddenly had to manage both their jobs and kids without a single cent of help. Thanks. You enjoyed making them, so deal with them. But what if I didn't? I did. So I started to work as a freelancer, taking small jobs which I could finish from home. And while I was working more than ever before in my entire life, seriously, I worked during the day whenever my kids allowed me to, my wife being the best support imaginable. For real. I was working each evening when they were supposed to be sleeping, which they sometimes even did. I worked every Saturday and Sunday and national holiday and earned like a quarter of the money I earned before for literally sitting in an office. Man, the world is really fucked up right now. So, I tried. I really gave it my all to do everything at the same time. But, I mean, I obviously couldn't. When I was pushing for videos, my art schedule crumbled. When I was pushing art, I literally couldn't release a single video. When I was pushing for both, I didn't do freelance jobs, which I couldn't afford, so there was just no way to continue like that. Last month, my boy turned 2, we got a spot at the daycare center, the pandemic is kinda over. I mean, not really, but we are really good in acting that way. Long story short, I got myself a new job. A real job, as a fashion designer, with good and fair payment for doing exactly the same work I've done before, just with the difference that I have to waste 2 hours in traffic every day, so I can sit in front of a computer with a worse engine that's not mine. I'm seriously excited about the new job though, not gonna lie. But in order to do that, something else has to go. I obviously won't dump my family, so that one was easy. So the decision was kinda either YouTube or art or both. And while I really enjoyed YouTube more than I ever imagined, I kinda have no desire to rewatch any of my older videos. While on the other hand, I have all of our paintings hanging at the wall around me. Now, you may say, I barely made any YouTube content in the last months anyways, so how is that going to work? And you're right, cause the real issue is not YouTube, but FEH. I am competitive. I've always been. Being competitive is a part of me. And FEH is not dying. In fact, they brought out a new mode, Summoner Duels, which forces you to think strategically in a completely new way. And I love that. See, I live for stuff like that. I know that I've been shitting on Summoner Duels a lot, and I stand by it. It has a lot of flaws. But technically speaking, I would love the challenge. If I had time for it. And this is a struggle I've had for months now. I literally never built any other team than my original Pala team. All of my Summoner Duel S teams are frauds. Those units aren't even built for the most part, but rather meant to scare away the enemy so I can play Pala. And she sucks. Like, when she dies, this team has no way of still winning. And IS constantly releases new counters against that playstyle. I still made it into the top 100 in the beginning by trying hard to outsmart every team that were built to counter me, but as you can see, I'm starting to fall off. People play all these new OP meta units and I can't keep up unless I invest time to work on new strategies and playstyles. And I don't have that. I used to enter these ranked modes like literally without even knowing the current map and captain skills. Like, look at my summoner card. Merely 1340 points on my most played unit. That's like barely enough to even play the mode on a competitive level. And honestly, same goes for Ether rates. My defense seriously needs work, especially in Astra, where it has become nearly impossible to lose with a L-Mine safe ball offense. As I knew I was going to quit the game, I didn't put in the effort anymore to re-bless my units. But I didn't want people to see that I stopped before this video came out, so I had to have some score. And made it through the week with the single save team which I had still locked. It was enough. Anyways, where am I and what am I doing here? So despite everything I said earlier, I am actually not quitting YouTube. This is not a goodbye video. I'll still be around. Like, go into the comments right now and check how many people will wish me good luck for the future. They haven't watched the video till here. Understandably. I'm a boring German with questionable humor who just said he quit the one game that made people come to this channel. Kudos to you for still being here, I guess. But I still want to do content. Probably not as frequently as I used to, but I want to make videos closer to my art. Not porn. What the fuck is wrong with you? Videos that are more timeless? Like the Fire Emblem roast I've been teasing for almost a year now. Maybe quitting FE will finally allow me to write down the jokes I've been collecting in my head for months now, just to be cancelled afterwards. Videos that can be rewatched and enjoyed even when the meta has completely turned around. Cause, honestly, who would want to watch 200 Orbs AHR 2021 today? Even back then, people didn't want to watch it. I don't know. Looking at my achievements, it really sucks to leave things behind. But I know it's the right thing to do. I've had my time. I've had my glory. I mean, there was a time when an AR defense archetype was named after me. There was a time when I actually was considered inventive in summoner duels. There was a time when people thought my content was useful. A short time, but still. I want to remember it that way, instead of becoming an angry old white man trying to cling to the very same strategies he's used during Pearl Harbor days. I'm actually sitting on nearly 100 recorded matches against super whales, which never made it into videos as I just didn't find the time to edit them. And with each new OP hero coming out, they become more and more redundant. And it really sucks. Like, I have tons of ideas and I also have the motivation. I am just missing the time. And this will only get worse. So too long didn't read, the game did nothing wrong, life did nothing wrong. I'm just an adult with 2 kids and limited time that has to make adult decisions. And that's what I did. So who knows what will happen next. I will not thank anybody or say goodbye to anybody, cause I really don't plan on leaving. You will still have to endure the white dude posting hentai stuff under the same name as their YouTube channel. But now with 5k subscribers. Bitch! You won't have to endure me as much, but I'll still be around. And my DMs are always open, especially for hardcore dumb ideas. I live for that. I won't terminate my account, I mean, I don't have an addiction and it's not like I will have to force myself to stay away from the app. And I still need my +10 for whenever Speedy decides to ban weapons for Bromains 156. And everyone has to compete with iron weapons, which will still make the young in-between summer and fall Edelgard reach 120 attack. Seriously, I want this decision to be a step forward, to concentrate on the things I can do, rather than to complain about the things I can't. So, don't be sad. I hope to see you soon, not too soon, soonish. Let's go with soonish. So don't be sad, and I hope to see you soon-ish. Bye!